All right, let's go to the running backs. Quinshon Judkins, he's got the Bills. Consecutive games with under 30 rushing yards for Quinshon Judkins, which seems hard to believe, Lawrence, because the volume is always there for him, and volume for a running back against the Bills usually leads to good things.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot, and I'll keep it open. This is why. I still think that Buffalo Bills run defense got some leaks in there. We saw it last week with Travion Henderson. Quinshon Judkins doesn't have that type of explosiveness, but you could say he's as good of a running back, just on a much worse team. Running backs that face the Bills this season are averaging over 5 yards a carry, and that's a place that Judkins hasn't excelled in the yards per carry department. What concerns me is he hasn't gotten those 20 carries these past few games, so that's a concern here, especially when they're double-digit underdogs. But how else are you going to get there? You need that run game to work. Attack this great team where they're the weakest. That's the run game. I'm going to leave it open.
Yeah, I think Judkins is a tough one because he gets so much volume and he's so short of volume each week. The issue is that, and it's not a question of his talent, I think he's a very talented running back, but his run blocking has been atrocious all season. There's no space in that offense because the box is just loaded because there are no receivers who really scare you. And Connor, to me, the issue as well is that the defense the past 2 weeks is not the defense that it was in the first 13 weeks or so of the season, where it was like a top 3 defense in the league. And the fact that they have sprung leaks gives you less confidence that there's going to be game script where this game is close enough for Judkins to be getting many carries in the second half.
That's the fear, is that there's a world where what if they're down 3 touchdowns legitimately at the start of the third quarter, and it's like, well, Judkins now gets 3 carries the rest of the game.
Hold on. Are they getting any of their linemen back this week? Because they was down 4 of their starting offensive
We'll
line.
get our injury reports today.
He hasn't had any run blocking whoever's been in there.
Right.
I just need some linemen in there to help the brother out, but yeah.
Our next running back, Aaron Jones, against the Giants. 4 straight games with under 10 fantasy points. You're seeing a theme here. A lot of players that are trending the wrong direction, but have a matchup that makes you think maybe I could get away with this one more time. Aaron Jones, Lawrence, is RB20 for Matthews, so seems like a fringe believer, that the Giants can kind of fix his woes.
This one I'll keep open by a little bit, and it's because of the receiving work here. He's had a 14% target share since Week 10, going up against this Giants team that's given up the 6th most receptions to running backs. We know that's Aaron Jones's. That's kind of his claim to fame right now in this Vikings offense. Last week he had over 30 receiving yards. So if he's going to give me that, then he'll get enough carries. He'll get the double-digit carries. If you can get 30, 40 receiving yards, I'm going to keep it open versus the Giants.
Yeah, healthy target share in recent weeks for Aaron Jones. I think the main thing is that the Giants, they look like a team that had given up against the Commanders.
The defense especially.
Showing. Also, the Patriots did whatever they wanted the previous matchup there. So this Giants team very much running out the season. They've been, efficiency-wise, one of the worst rush defenses ever in NFL history, with the Jahmyr Gibbs game a few weeks ago being kind of the defining one there. Joe the Singing Bro, 34-14. Hello, Joe. Tyrone Tracy or Aaron Jones? Who do you like here, Lawrence?
Based on last week, I had to go Tyrone
He looks
Tracy.
great.
18 touches, almost 100 yards from scrimmage, the 2 touchdowns. They didn't waste any time making him the leader of that, I guess, committee you could call it, but it was more 65-35 in favor of Tyrone Tracy, so I'll go with him.
Do you think he'll stick as the running back in New York long term?
Well, it depends on how long this Scadaboo recovery is going to take. What I liked when they drafted Scadaboo was that they're so different. Tracy, former wide receiver, you can get him in space, and then Scadaboo's kind of this downhill thumper. But at that point of the season, they just completely got away from all their running backs, ran Scadaboo into the ground. So I don't think this will ever be a backfield that should just have one guy. But it's been frustrating how much until last week Singletary was getting work over Tracy when you should just give Tracy most of those touches, which feels like Kafka's leaning into that now. I agree with you, Lawrence. I would probably start Tyrone Tracy this week in this spot. Just way higher receiving ceiling. And Ved asking here, Judkins or Tyrone Tracy?
I would go Tracy just because of the downside with Judkins, where there's just all these Judkins games. You look at the box score and it's like, 11 carries for 21 yards at the moment for Judkins, and so you just worry about the game script getting out of hand against Buffalo. I understand that Buffalo's run defense is not particularly good, but Judkins has gone up against bad run defenses in the past, and it hasn't really mattered because everyone's loads the box.
Yeah, it has to happen for like. They're 10-point underdogs. I feel better about the Giants being able to get closer to scoring range at a higher clip at this point.
All right, our last running back, guys, Ashton Jeanty against the Texans. It has been a tough rookie year for Ashton Jeanty and what's been an awful year for the Raiders. He's got 14 total fantasy points in his last 2 games, Jay. And he runs through the buzzsaw that is Houston. I can't imagine a world, unless you just have no other players, where you have to start Ashton Jeanty in the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, kind of a terrifying graphic here to see Ashton Jeanty 1 spot behind Kenneth Gainwell and 2 spots ahead of the great Michael Carter of the Arizona Cardinals. This would have been stuff and nightmares if you saw this after drafting Jeanty in the preseason. But yeah, I think it has to be a close. There's just no hope in this Raiders offense. This has been, arguably the worst team in the NFL this year. It is getting worse, not better. As well, looks like Geno Smith is going to be back. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad or an indifferent thing. But going up against
Kenny
the
Pickett
Texans
last week?
I
actually thought Pickett,
because when Pickett got in there, I'm like, all right, let's let him play, whatever, you know. Then I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I thought Pickett might give him something after what he showed the week prior.
If you got Brock Bowers and you still in the fantasy playoffs, you probably would rather have Geno in there because it was just a complete stinker. Like Ashton Jeanty's not working in fantasy right now, but at least Brock Bowers is to some degree every other week. So, but for me with Ashton Jeanty, same thing. Hasn't had more than 35 rushing yards in 3 straight games, fellas. And the thing we'd been saying in previous weeks was like, oh, he's getting a lot of targets, 6, 7, 8 targets. But now it's just not adding up to the fantasy points that we need. So definitely going to close it out versus this Houston Texans team that are 14.5-point favorites.
I was laughing. I saw this in the chat and didn't even ask Pete to air it, but I'm glad he did. I was going to read it. Ryan B., you guys are killing me. I have Jeanty and Judkins on the same team.
Well, congratulations. Your season's still alive, apparently.
If there's anybody out there that has the question coming up, Judkins or Jeanty, I would say Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah,
but for you, my friend, you just got to pray.
Yeah.
You got to pray. And hope for the talent, that the talent just some way finds its through all that other stuff they going through, but it's tough sledding for you.
You might be grabbing Michael Carter on waivers.
Yeah, well, my team, as I mentioned, got a bye. My 2 starting running backs are Quinshon Judkins and Jalen Warren. So
there you go.
Going to have to lean heavily on JSN and Amon-Ra.
Ryan, the number 1 seed, baby. Wow, Ryan, your receivers must be unbelievable in that spot.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.